Hello everybody, welcome back to the sessions on power electronics by Ramana. This is the 35th session in this series in which we are going to discuss some circuitry applications of power electronic circuits for specific applications, or simply whatever we have been discussing for the last three sessions under the unit applications of power electronic circuits. In this session, we will be discussing the design and working of different power electronic circuits to meet certain applications. And in this session, we are going to discuss particularly two aspects of applications of power electronic circuits: light dimmer circuit by using diode and triac, power control circuits by SCR. Power control circuits by SCR. In the last session, we have discussed the aspects of protection of power devices from over voltages and the different circuits used for such purpose. Over voltage protection using SCR, where the excess voltage would be consumed in a diverted path provided by the SCR, and the load will be allowed to get its normal voltage even during the over voltage conditions. And the other thing was crowbar circuit, which is used exclusively when higher energies are to be tapped and dissipated. So the procedure which is adapted in the over voltage protection by SCRs cannot be followed. In such situations, crowbar circuits are used, which will simply short circuit the supply terminals and fuse will be blown off to isolate the source as well as the load. And the other aspects of power electronic devices we discussed were the replacement of conventional electrical circuit breakers by using power electronic circuit breakers, that is static switches or static circuit breakers, again which were designed for operation under DC as well as AC circuits. So up to the last session, actually we have discussed various applications of power electronic devices in terms of supply voltages, in terms of protection circuits, in terms of backup supplies. Likewise, now from this session onwards, we will be discussing the typical applications of power electronic devices and specifically designed circuits to suit different applications. As mentioned in the previous slide, we will be specifically discussing two circuits, such circuits in this session. So the objectives are, in this session we will be discussing the design and operation of a light dimmer circuit using diode and triac, power control circuits using SCR, again which are designed for AC, half wave, full wave control and DC. The first aspect is light dimmer circuit, as the name indicates, that is dimming of light. So whenever you use a lamp or any lighting equipment, many times it happens that we need not have that much of light, but brightness of that lamp or light will be higher. Sometimes it might be disturbing, or the energy is also wasted. For that purpose, it would be better to have a procedure and a circuit so that the brightness of the lamp or that light can be controlled as per the requirement. As per the requirement, it has to be controlled. So just compare the situation with a normal fan, ceiling fan, which we operate in day-to-day life, where a simple regulator will be there in series with the circuitry between the source and fan, and by rotating the knob of the regulator we will be controlling the input given to the load or fan, and thus its speed will be changed according to the requirement. So we can realize that the same sort of procedure is used for light dimmer circuit. That is, whatever circuit which we are going to use for dimming the given light, this is the section of that particular circuit which we are going to use. It is connected in series with the load, and according to the requirement, by making certain changes or the required changes with the regulator or knob sort of thing, just in the case of fan, or here it is shown as a switch, then it will be controlling the brightness of the light. But it is not the switch which is going to control, it is the design parameters or the values of the components inside the circuit which will actually change the operation of the circuit. This switch shown in this circuit is just to connect the circuit to the source. So just going into the circuit, light dimmer circuit using diode triac. As name indicates, don't get misled by using a diode. We are using this. We are designing the circuit by using a triac, and a diode is needed to trigger or turn on the triac. So we already know that diac and triac are always used in tandem, as I said, where diac fires the triac. In place of diac, we can also use other light sensitive equipment or photo equipment or light sensitive LEDs, so that we can also change the brightness of the light, which is not in the scope of this session. Just we will be discussing this circuit where we are using diac and triac. And when we go through the circuit, when we close the switch or simply switch on the supply, then the voltage will be applied to the circuit in two different paths, and current will also flow likewise depending on their conductions. And the actual circuit, this is the actual light dimmer regulatory circuit, this total section is the light dimmer regulatory circuit connected in series with the lamp. This is the lamp of which you want to control or change the brightness according to the requirement. And the circuit comprises of a fixed resistance R1, a variable resistance, and a capacitance connected in the fashion. When you switch on the supply, current flows in this direction into the triac, and it also takes the path via R1 or into the diac, and also it flows into the other direction to the capacitor. And as this triac is not fired, current will not flow, lamp will not glow at all in the starting condition. Just in the starting condition, think that it will not glow at all unless this triac is fired via this gate. And we know the basics of firing of triacs and SCRs at a given alpha, that is firing angle. We can control the conduction times. If the conduction time is more power will be delivered to the load. In this case, if the firing angle of the triac is less, that is if the conduction angle is more, beta is more, then lamp gets more power, that is more average voltage and more average current, and it glows with higher brightness. If the triac is fired at higher firing angles, then conduction angle will decrease, and obviously the average voltage and currents available across the lamp will decrease. So the brightness of the lamp will be decreased. That is how you can dim the lamp. So then why you are calling this as light dimmer circuit? Why don't you call it as light control circuit? Control means it may uh, mean that it is just on off control. It is not just on off control, it changes the brightness. And when the triac is fired at zero firing angle, then full voltage and full current will be applied to the lamp in both the half cycles. Triac being a bidirectional device, both positive and negative half cycles will be applied across the lamp in their full magnitudes. Light will be glowing with its full brightness. So by changing the firing angle of alpha and eventually the conduction angle, the brightness of the lamp is decreased. That is why it is called as light dimmer circuit. And let us see how it happens. And the resistance, variable resistance plays the important role. Just and when supply is on, current flows via R1 R and into the capacitor and also into the diode, which under normal conditions, unless the applied voltage across its T1 and T2 terminals is more than its breakover voltage, that is forward breakover voltage, it will not conduct. So this diode will conduct when and only when the voltage applied across this diode will be more than its breakover voltage. And when this diode conducts, then there will be a gate triggering pulse entering into the triac will conduct. So the firing angle at which this triac should be turned on via the diode can be adjusted by adjusting the value of this variable resistance R, and eventually by adjusting the time taken for this capacitor to get charged to a voltage which would be sufficient to turn on the diode. Or just think that if this diode turns on at some 10 volts, then this capacitor should be charged to 10 voltage, then only this diode can conduct. And if this resistance is zero, the current will be more, because this is the only resistance left over. So or just say that the with R1 and some value of R, the total resistance will be more, or the voltage available for the capacitor for building up will be less. So it takes more time. If this R is 0, in less time this capacitor gets charged to the diode breakover voltage. So by adjusting the value of this resistance, the charging times of the capacitor and also the voltage build-up times will be varied. If you want to decrease the firing angle, this resistance should be decreased. That is, if resistance is less, this capacitor gets charged in lesser times to the required voltage, diode conducts in less time, triac will be fired at lesser firing angle. When triac is fired at lesser firing angle, conduction time will be more, lamp brightness will be more. If you want to decrease the lamp brightness of the lamp, increase this resistance, then this capacitor takes more time to build up the required voltage. So as a result, the firing angle of the triac will be more, or triac fires at higher firing angle and the conduction time will be less. So brightness of the lamp will decrease. That is how this light dimmer circuit operates under both positive and negative half cycles as well, because the triac is a bidirectional device. The biac is a bidirectional device, and also your DAC is also a bidirectional device, and capacitor can also get charged in both the directions owing to the AC. So that is how the light dimmer circuit using a diac and triac operates. In this slide is shown a particularly designed circuit for light dimmer circuit, where the single phase AC supply is given, lamp is connected in series. This is the triac BTA 600A, and diac is ST2 diac, a 3.3 kilo ohm fixed resistor R1 and 250 kilo ohm linear variable resistor, and 0.1 picofarad uh, 0.1 picofarad capacitor. And the desired value of this R1 should be such that even when this resistance is zero, the voltage built up across the capacitor should not be able to drive the diac and turn on the triac, or it should be just sufficient to that voltage. When variable resistance is zero, the value of this resistance should be chosen such that the capacitor will be simply able to turn on the triac at zero firing angle. That corresponds to zero. Whenever you introduce some value to this resistance, alpha increases, brightness decreases, and all the operation whatever we have discussed for the previous circuit or this circuit or whatever light dimmer circuit, and even the power control circuits which we are going to discuss in this session, they follow the same phase, same old firing angle control or resistance triggering or phase control techniques, where here we have done nothing but resistance type of triggering of the triac in this case. And there is another circuit shown, similar circuit implying the same design features, where supply sinusoidal supply is shown, and this is the capacitor voltage waveform, where from zero capacitor is charging, and when the voltage becomes equal to conduct the diac and triac, then capacitor is discharging, or then during this time load will be getting its voltage or lamp will be getting its voltage. So lamp will glow, or the supply will be given to the lamp only during these periods, and in all it is, in this case the lamp will be dimmed, or brightness of the lamp will be decreased. So it is nothing but firing angle control or phase control technique. That is how light dimmer circuit works. Just go through the wordings. When the voltage across C is sufficient to cause the conduction of diac, a gate current flows into the triac. The triac starts conducting and the lamp glows. Changing the value of resistance R causes a change in the firing angle of the triac, which changes the voltage applied to the lamp, thus changing its brightness. The fixed resistance R1 ensures that the gate current does not become more than the rated current even when the resistance R is at its minimum value. That is, even R is 0, this R1 should be such that track can be fired instantly at 0 itself. At the same time, this should limit the current gate which may flow into the gate under normal conditions, that is when full voltage is applied or when the capacitor gets charged in lesser times or minimum times. So that can be done to suit to the normal conditions also, and the value of R1 should be such that the gate current does not become more than the rated current of gate. And that is all about the working of light dimmer circuit. And next we will switch over to the other aspect, AC power control circuit by SCR. As we have seen in the slide previously, power controls, we are going to discuss the design and operation of power control circuits by using SCRs. And again, when the load is when the supply is AC and also DC. Again, when it comes to DC, where the power control can be introduced in only a given half cycle or full cycle or full wave. So this is the circuit which is employed for power control in half cycle only, or it is half wave power control only. Power will be controlled, or current flowing through the load will be controlled only in a given half cycle. And this is the same old circuit which we have discussed in the previous sessions long back during the AC voltage controllers or phase or AC voltage regulators, where single phase AC supply is given to the load via the SCR, or when SCR conducts, then only load will get its supply, and all other circuitry are designed to trigger the SCR at the given firing angle, just similar to what we have discussed in the previous topic, that is light dimmer circuit. So just think that SCR conducts at 0 degrees itself, that is alpha, or when a gate signal is given at 0 degrees, then full sinusoidal voltage will appear across the load, and SCR conducts only for a given half cycle. Only during the positive half cycle, load will get its voltage. During the negative half cycle, SCR will be reverse biased and it will not conduct, and it will be turned off at the zero crossing. So this is half wave power control only, or power control in only half cycle. So the load is getting only one half cycle instead of the full cycle, or half wave rectification is done. So average voltage applied across it will be less, and again by changing the firing angle, this power can further be decreased. That is how the power delivered to the load is controlled according to the requirement, and the load will be performing accordingly. Just similar to the previous circuit, this is the R minimum or R1 in the previous case. This is the minimum value of resistance, and this is the variable resistance or potentiometer. In the place of diode of the previous circuit, here a forward bias diode is connected in series with the gate circuit of the SCR, and again another resistance RA is connected to maintain the proper voltage between the cathode of the diode and the return path, or we can say that the extra energy which may be supplied via the diode will be consumed within this resistance, and also it will be helping in maintaining the required gate to cathode voltage to trigger the SCR. When this R is zero, when this R is zero, the voltage applied across the diode will be more, or voltage reaching the diode will be more. So diode conducts in less time, or forward breakover voltage will be reached in less time. Diode conducts, so there will be a pulse entering into the gate of the SCR. SCR conducts, excuse me, and load gate its supply in the positive half cycle. During the negative half cycle, at the zero crossover, just during the transition from positive to negative, SCR turns off, load will not get any supply. If you increase the value of this resistance, the net available voltage across the diode will decrease, so it conducts in, or it takes more time to conduct. So SCR will be fired at larger firing angle alpha. When alpha is increased, conduction time will decrease, so load will get less power. So this is the action of power control for half wave by using SCR. This is another circuit shown in similar fashion where simply a single SCR is connected with a load where it is an inductive load. In the previous case, just consider that this were a resistive load and this were an inductive load, and a freewheeling diode connected as usual in anti-parallel, which will be providing a path for the stored energy inside the reactance, inductive reactance of the load to get supply within it itself, which is shown in the waveforms from over here. SCR will be fired. The other circuitry like these things are not shown. SCR is fired at a given angle alpha, so load gets its voltage from here like this. Only this much of voltage will be available across the load. This load will be blocked by this voltage will be blocked by the SCR. So load voltage will be like this in the positive half cycle. In the negative half cycle, also the same thing can be done, but this is used for only half wave because only one SCR you are using. So due to the inductive nature of the load, current lags behind the voltage. Even though voltage becomes zero at 180 degrees, current is still positive. Current is still positive, and current becomes zero after a certain time due to the inductive nature. And this is the portion during which the freewheeling diode provides a path for the release of energy stored inside the inductor. And this is what we have discussed in the phase control technique session. The same thing is explained over here of the circuit which we have seen over here. Cathode of diode is connected to the gate of SCR, forming a gate cathode junction. During the positive half cycle, SCR is forward biased and turns on at a given firing angle, which depends on the adjustment value of this variable resistance. And once fired from the angle alpha till 180 degrees, SCR will conduct, considering that the load is resistive. Whereas when the load is inductive, SCR or the current through the load will be from alpha to 180 plus some more angle. It may be equal to alpha or less than alpha, or beta will be from alpha to 180 plus a certain angle during which inductive energy will be released. Whereas in case of resistive load which we have considered in the first circuit, this is the sinusoidal voltage applied from 0 to alpha. SCR will be blocking the total voltage. At alpha, SCR conducts, so load voltage appears across the load and it becomes 0 at pi. The current will also follow the same thing. owing to the resistive nature of the load of the first circuit, and again during the negative half cycle the total voltage will be blocked by the reverse biased SCR, and again after 2 pi in the second cycle again at 2 pi plus alpha, 2 pi plus alpha SCR will be fired, load get its voltage from 2 pi to 2 pi plus alpha, SCR will be blocking the voltage, and the current flowing will be in phase with the load voltage. Its magnitude depends on the resistance of the load. That is how AC power control circuit by an SCR works for a half wave. Due to natural reverse of supply at 180 degrees, SCR gets turned off. The diode in the gate circuit does not allow the gate cathode reverse bias to exceed peak reverse voltage during the negative half cycle. It ensures that reverse bias will not come into picture, so that SCR will not conduct in reverse. Otherwise, it will get totally damaged. So this is the working of power control circuits by using SCR, where only control is employed in one half cycle, where the same phase control technique or resistance triggering method is used for the firing angle control. Now we shall go through another circuit where two SCRs are used for full wave power control, or control will be achieved in both the ways. Just go through this diagram where both SCRs are shown to be conducting in the given half cycles, SCR1 in the positive, SCR2 in the negative half cycle, so that load will be getting its AC power. Okay, full cycle will be applied to the load. This is the input voltage, and control is employed in both the half cycles or throughout the half cycle. And how is it done? Just we will go through the circuit and explain it. That is, unlike the other circuit, this particular circuit is again an automatic power control circuit, again for a particularly fixed value. In both the cases, the potentiometer, or this is the knob or regulator, which has to be changed for power control. In all the cases, this is what we have to do. Adjust the value of the potentiometer or resistance, or simply we will be using resistance triggering method for the phase control technique or firing angle control in all the cases of power control. So this is simply, just recall this as a simple bridge circuit using of diodes, 4 diodes and 2 capacitors for building up of the voltage, and 2 pulse transformers T1 and T2 are used, of which the secondaries are connected to the concerned gates of the SCRs. SCR1 conducts for the negative half cycle, SCR2 conducts for the positive half cycle, and as discussed in the previous session and in all the sessions, Zener diode is the main thing which senses the changes in the voltage in its reverse. So just we will follow the diagram for the operation. The values of these capacitances, capacitor C1 and C2 will be taken such that the voltage built up across them will be sufficient to supply the required triggering pulse to the SCR gate via the pulse transformer. So as pulse transformers are involved, 2 pulse transformers, it is somewhat costly, but it is very effective. During the positive half cycle, current flows via the load D1, this potentiometer, C2, D4 and back, and in all the other parts it will be obstructed. So load gets its voltage and current, it is getting via its path, but according to the adjustment of the potentiometer only. If this potentiometer is set to its maximum, if this potentiometer is set to its maximum, the total voltage will be dropped across the potentiometer and the diodes, and the capacitor will take very longer times, or you can simply change the say that capacitor cannot get its charging voltage, it cannot give any triggering pulse to the SCR, and it cannot conduct. So even though when the supply is switched on, actual load voltage and current flows from load via the SCRs, SCR1 and SCR2, nothing will happen unless these SCRs are triggered from their gate circuits. Now we shall see the actual operation. During the positive half cycle, the current has two paths, load via the SCR2, which is forward biased, SCR1 is reverse biased, so it cannot flow like this. So it takes this path, but SCR2 is in off position. Again, this is the secondary of the pulse transformer, nothing will happen. D2 opposes, so the current flows via D1, potentiometer C2, D4 and back. So SCR2 is in off condition or forward off state. It is forward biased, but it is in forward off state. During this time, depending on the value of the potentiometer, this capacitor builds up its voltage. If this value of potentiometer is less, in lesser time this capacitor gets charged. If this resistance is more, this takes more time. And once this capacitor gets sufficient voltage build up, it discharges. The top plate of it charges with positive polarity and bottom plate with negative polarity, so it discharges when it gets sufficient voltage to break the Zener diode in the reverse, or when this capacitor C2 builds up its voltage sufficient to make Zener break down the Zener diode, then it discharges via this primary of the pulse transformer T2, or capacitor discharges through the primary of the pulse transformer and the Zener diode, and the discharging takes place. And once there is a current pulse fed to the transformer primary, obviously the corresponding secondary induced EMF or pulse will be there, and that secondary pulse will enter into the gate of the SCR2, as secondary of the transformer is connected between gate and cathode of the SCR, or secondary of the pulse transformer acts as the gate triggering voltage between the gate and the cathode of the SCR2. Then SCR simply conducts. When SCR conducts, the load current flows via the load SCR2 and back to the supply in the positive half cycle. So the time taken by the capacitor to trigger the SCR2 can be adjusted by changing the value of the potentiometer. If you want to turn this SCR2 in lesser time, that is at lesser firing angles, this resistance should be at lower position, or and if the firing angle you want to be more, then increase this resistance. And the same thing will repeat in the negative half cycle, where during the negative half cycle SCR2 will be reverse biased, it turns off at the zero crossing. SCR1 is forward biased, but as there is no gate triggering voltage, it will not conduct. Load will be getting load will not be getting any voltage or current. And depending on the same potentiometer, the value, the same potentiometer drives both C2 and C1. During the negative half cycle, now the current flows via D2, potentiometer C1 and D3 back to the load. So the C1 gets charged to the required voltage sufficient to break down the Zener diode in reverse, and that time will be just same as the other capacitor C2, or in both the half cycles, just by adjusting the potentiometer you can maintain the same firing angle. In both the half cycles. So this circuit automatically works to fire the concerned SCRs, SCR2 for positive half cycle and SCR1 for the negative half cycle at the required firing angle depending on the value of the potentiometer via the pulse transformer. So this is the working of the AC power control circuit by two SCRs, where full wave control is adopted, and it is automatic. Potentiometer R controls the conduction angle of the SCRs or firing angle of the SCRs. Greater the pot resistance, lesser will be the voltage across capacitor C1 and C2, and hence smaller will be the conduction times of SCR1 and SCR2 during a half cycle. That is, lesser voltage will be there across capacitor C1 and C2, means they will take more time to build up to the required voltages. Alpha will be more, so conduction time will be less. Power delivered to the load will be less. During the positive half cycle, capacitor C2 gets charged via the path. After getting fully charged, the capacitor breaks down the Zener diode Z in the reverse and discharges through the primary of the pulse transformer T2, causing a pulse to induce in its secondary. That is how it works, and the same thing is repeated for the negative half cycle. The pulse output from the T2 triggers the forward bias SCR2 to turn it on, and the load current flows in RL. So the same procedure will be repeated for the negative half cycle, and once the supply changes from positive to negative at the zero crossover, the ongoing SCR will be automatically turned off by natural or line commutation. So that is how automatic power control is achieved in both the half cycles. So this is the power control circuit automatically in both the half cycles are all over the full wave or full cycle. That is full wave power control by two SCRs. Don't get confused with this half wave or full wave rectification. Here rectification, nothing as sort of rectification is done. This is just simply as an AC voltage controller regulator, where the voltage applied across the load is varied by the same phase control technique by varying the resistance or resistance triggering. Same thing can also be called as firing angle control for the power control. So this is a typical application circuit for phase control technique or an AC voltage controller. You can say that. And when the supply is DC, then also you can apply the power control by using an SCR. The load is connected in series with the load and the SCR. Even though SCR is forward biased, it will not conduct, it will be blocking the total voltage, and load will get its voltage and current when and only when this SCR conducts. For that purpose, we have to do something so that there will be some current or pulse entering into the gate, and that will be taken care by these voltage bias resistors or voltage divider resistors R1 and R2. Just imagine that this S2, this switch is normally closed switch. This switch is normally closed switch. So SCR is forward biased, and this switch is normally open switch. So when you want to switch on the actual circuit, you have to push this circuit just press this switch. So current flows via this resistance combination, and the voltage across this resistance, when the voltage drop across this resistance will be sufficient to trigger the gate, then SCR conducts. And this is a momentary switch. You need not make the current to flow through the gate throughout the operation of the SCR. It is automatically opened, as this is a normally open switch. And when you want to totally shut down the circuit, simply push or press this switch, which is a normally closed switch. Load gets turned off, and once it is turned off, even though S2 is now closed, SCR is forward biased, but it is not conducting as this switch is open. It will not conduct. Or by controlling the positions of these switches, you can simply control the turn on of this SCR, and thus you can control the average load voltage and currents which may flow through the load. This is nothing but a simple on and off control or chopper action, which we already know the same chopper sort of action is employed over. To do this manually, it is not possible always. Just by pressing this switch, it will be on, and this load will continuously on. If you want to control the power continuously, then this should be again opened, totally obstruct the power, then control this switch. In alternately, we have to use these switches so that the total average power delivered to the load will be changed. Means you have to do nothing but you have to chop the DC supply voltage applied across the load by using this SCR, by operating these switches. So if we can employ some automatic control to alternately close open these switches at a given frequency, so that the conduction times or turn on times of this SCR are controlled, then total power delivered to the load will be controlled. So that is what is all about of the DC power control circuit. In these circuits, power control is obtained by varying the duration of on time and off time of the device, which is nothing but chopper control or on off control. Again, in this, if you use both half time control also, then it is frequency modulation, which is normally not done. You can also use the other PWM technique, where you will be fixed you will design the circuit for a fixed chopping frequency, and varying the conduction times. PWM techniques can also be used by designing it for a fixed chopping frequency. By varying the conducting times means, that is, you will turn on the SCR by this gate switch. Just call it as a gate switch. It turns on, load current flows. So the turn on time or conduction time of current through the load can be controlled by this main switch, which is normally closed. Just push it or open, it will be turned off. So if this switch is closed for higher duration, turn on time will be more power will be delivered to the load. If this is closed for lesser time, power delivered to the load will be less. And that is how DC power control circuit by SCRs operate to control the power delivered to the load. And thus we have discussed the power control aspects of uh, uh, power electronic circuits by using SCR to suit to various applications. For AC power control, where half wave control is employed, and also full wave control full wave control is employed by using two SCRs. and also power control by DC, power control circuits for DC loads by SCR. That is the summary of what we have discussed in this session. And just to have a simple quiz, in a light dimmer circuit R1, that is fixed resistance, is used to ensure that the gate current does not become more, gate current does not become less, gate voltage does not become less. Gate current does not become more, that is, gate current does not become more than the actual rated current of the gate. Ensure that the gate current does not become more than the actual rated current of the gate. Changing the value of the resistance R causes change in the firing angle of, that is, the variable resistance for resistance triggering the firing angle of the triac. In this combination, it is the triac. For diac, capacitor and lamp, no firing angle is there. Triac firing angle is changed. The firing angle of SCR in power control circuit of SCR is controlled by which method? It is resistance triggering, voltage triggering, power triggering, or it is resistance triggering method, or also phase control technique. So that is for the quiz. And frequently asked questions are, obviously we'll be getting long answer questions for asking to draw and explain the working of both light dimmer circuits and any of the power control circuits. Power control by an SCR for, or consider that, draw the circuit diagram for the DC power control by an SCR and explain its operation. At the same time, it can be AC half wave, also AC full wave, and also you can be asked to simply draw the circuits or draw the waveforms for short answer questions. And that is how the different application circuits work under, which are discussed under today's session. We will be extending our discussion on application of power electronic circuits in the next session also. Thank you.